Hello everyone, WLP Wolf Girl here, and today I'm going to do something a little different. So, you know I'm originally a gaming channel, most of you have subscribed because of that, but I'm kind of switching up my style a little. I have a few videos I've recorded which yet to come out, but I'm going to record this one specifically for Easter. I recently came out with a webtoon, which I recently have also not had a chance to really post on because I've been busy with a lot of other stuff. And I want to actually I actually draw with my Wacom tablet. I'm so sorry if I say that name wrong. And I kind of want to review it because I'm actually trying to save up money for the Wacom Scenic 16, not the 16 Pro, but the 16. Cheaper model version, around $600. And when I get that tablet, if I can, I'm working on saving up, almost there. When I get it, I will also do a review on it. When I first open it, before I even open it, I will do a video on it. I just want to go over how it works, on how I like it, and what issues I've had with it. I've had this for a few years. I believe I got it when it first came out in 2015. Right before I ended up getting my current computer. So, yeah, I'm going to kind of go over what was in the box, saying I have a habit of keeping boxes around. I still have the box and what came with it. So, we're going to get to that, and then I'm going to draw something, kind of show you how it works for my comic, and kind of show you what it can kind of do and some of the limits to it. Okay, first things first, this is kind of how it looks like. I got the one that came with a free art pack, which I did use. I wasn't a big fan because it wasn't as good as what I was currently using, but I tend to also put it in upside down to keep these flaps down. This did not come with it. That's just something I put in there to keep track of. And there's something else in here I did not put in it, I believe, but I will find it and take it out. This did not come in it. What it does come with this, which is just kind of certain materials and whatnot. It comes with a CD, which you can read what's on it. And it comes with the instruction manual. Sadly, I have had to read this entire thing. I didn't want to ask my parents for help setting it up, so that. Now, as you can see here, it also came with a pin. I'm going to get my tablet. It came with a pin, the tablet itself, and the cord, which that was set up. The cord was here, pin, and the tablet was on top of that. It was a nice setup. And, yep, that's basically how it was set up and what is in the box. Now, as I just showed you, this here is the tablet. I just unplugged it so you can kind of get a better look. It has 4 buttons. It is touch, but I do not use the touch. I feel like, I'll try using the touch and kind of show it out to you, but I personally have never liked the touch. I don't really know why. I also don't tend to put my pin here. Mainly because it seems more of just like a tag explaining bland, and it is incredibly, like, it's very, like, if you're traveling with it, I would recommend it, but it's stiff there. It's not very easy to get in and out. I just personally just throw it around and hope I don't lose the pin itself. Now, if you take a look at the tablet on the back, if you push up, gotta push up, this comes out. On the back, there is a few things. So you have, sorry, I'm gonna stand up here. So you have this, which allows it to be wireless. I've never tried this option out, so I personally do not know how it works. You got a few replacement nibs. I've had this for a few years, but I rarely draw. Well, I draw on it quite a bit, but I don't personally actually draw on it overwhelmingly like a lot of professional artists. So I'm still on that first nib. So yeah, the nibs do last quite a while. It names, one thing I did like about this as a kid, it names everything on the back on what it is. And there's even a pin remover. Now I have tried this out on the pin thing. If you get it in there good, it comes out quite well. See? And haha, I didn't lose the nib, like a lot of people you see. And the way you put it in is you put the flat part. I'm sorry if you can't see it because of my big hands. You put the flat part in there. So there's also, yeah, so prefer to go wireless. So there's a battery for the wireless, and then there's a little port for the wireless module, I guess. Like I said, I've never used that. Don't know how it works. If I get a Cynic 16, if that is an option on that, I will point it out, and more than likely I will go wireless on that. I don't like having to use a cord here, but because I have to look at my computer screen, I feel as if it's useless to just go cordless. So, yeah. There's also storage for a USB wireless dong, so, that's kind of interesting. And the USB port goes right there, which is the plug, which I had plugged in. Sorry, I have it currently plugged into my computer. So it's it's an interesting plug. I don't know what to describe it as. It looks similar to a Bluetooth, but I wouldn't call it a Bluetooth one, because I don't believe that is. Now, something I will point out when we get later into the video and show with the buttons. I don't use the buttons either. Like, I don't use the touch. And there's a reason for that, and I will point it out in the video. Now, the cord, which I was just showing you, this is the other end. This is the USB thing, just unplugged from my computer right next to me. And I'm using the pin here. Now, it's just a USB port for a computer, basically. It's nothing to really show. Now, one of the things I would like to point out of the pin, this is one of the older pins, no eraser. Now, like I said, I read those instructions, and it did say eraser, and I thought it was highly confusing as the fact it mentions an eraser, yet you can't erase using a normal method. What I believe it means is, if you wish, you can actually buy a pin, a Wacom pin with, I'm so sorry once again if I'm saying the brand name wrong. I'm so used to saying as Wacom, and I've just recently figured out that's not how it's said, and I can't get that version out of my head. But yeah, so it doesn't have an eraser. I'm sorry. It doesn't have an eraser. Now, what it does have, it has these two buttons, like a mouse, which I do use these two buttons. You can customize these two buttons like you can on the tablet, and I prefer to use these. And once again, I will show you why when I get into it. I personally do not mind this pin. A lot of people say that a lot of the other ones have a more comfortable print pin because it feels more realistic. I have a habit of just picking up random items and just like fake doodling on desks, so I really don't mind how it feels like cheap plastic. I'm also curious when I get the new one if this pin will work on the other one, because I know that with some tablets that you can customize some pins to be different sizes, and I feel like that would be highly useful, having two pins from different devices. So I will test that out. So yeah, I'm gonna get into it, and we're gonna move over to my computer. So yeah. Okay, so we are currently on the Core Painter Essentials 5, which is what came with the Intuos, the wacom Intuos art tablet. Now, I'm here, like I said, I'm not a big fan of this one, mainly because I'm used to a different type of setup, and this is just different than what I'm used to. It's not bad, it's just it took me forever to find out how to get layers. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so I'm just here to kind of show you the layers. Let me kind of try to show you. So that's me pushing down kind of at my fullest. So that's like there. That's kind of the best I can really show you. Let's see if changing to a different mark kind of helps. Maybe like this. Okay. This might work. Okay. So me doing it light. This is the lightest I can press. Barely shows up. It's kind of. Now, I should point out that my wacom settings, that is touch settings, not pin settings. My settings here, I have it on pretty in the middle. If I changed it to softer and then hit OK, I forgot to hit OK. Actually, I shouldn't have to hit OK on that. If I changed it to softer, it would register a slightly different touch. And I'm sorry, I'm kicking some stuff behind me. Not meaning to. There we go. Ignore that sound. And as you can see, it's a lot easier to get a dark color. Now I sound like I'm dying. No. But as you can see, it's a lot easier to get a dark color now. And whatnot. I tend to stick to the middle, mainly because I tend to press down quite hard. And staying, once again, as I said, I've had this for a few years, and I'm still on the first tip with how hard I press down. Once again, that is still very impressive. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to what I use. Here we go. And kind of show you, this is more pressure sensitive. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's pressure sensitive. And this is kind of a good way to, the other one's a good way to see kind of dynamics on shading, on how that's sensitive. This is a good way to kind of see size difference, as you can tell. Let me use a bigger one, see if that can. There's not much of a change you can really do. And once again, if I change it to like a firmer grip, even then, it's like it's more so that I just have to press down real hard to get that thick line. So yeah, I'm gonna change it back to that soft one just because I'm gonna try with it. I mean, as you can tell, it doesn't give you much. It gives you a slight curve kind of thing. So it's nice on the fact that it doesn't give you too much, but it'd be nice if it gave you like just like a little more, I just feel like it doesn't give you much, change. But like you said, this came out a few years ago, so it was also very cheap. So I'm really not surprised in that manner. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here is change the canvas size for this painting, and I'm just going to make it, let's see how this looks. Like I said, it's going to be for the, thing, so, yeah. So, what we currently have is, this will kind of give you, now I should mention, right now I'm not touching the pad. It is, let me grab a ruler just so I'm accurate here. I would say a few centimeters above the pad, but okay, so let's see, it registers about here. So that is around right there. Now for the record, my pen right now is not touching. It is touching the ruler, but it is about half a centimeter up. Now, I've never seen that happen before, but it is so when my ruler, oh, you know what? So that's the pin. I don't know why it was marking that. Best thing I can say, no, that doesn't work. I did turn touch on. Right now I'm using touch. This is touch. This allows me to zoom out, turn the canvas. Now, I don't usually use it this much because I'm going to be honest here. I'm pressing down pretty hard to actually turn it, and it worked for a second, and now it's not working. I just prefer to use these, in all honesty. There we go. Because it works, but at the same time it doesn't. Like, I was using the same thing there, and now it doesn't want to work. Now, there are settings for this too, like I did touch settings earlier, but it doesn't see tablet mapping, touch, but it doesn't really help on this matter from what I can find. I mean, this is nice. I like how it is possible to do this, but for me, it just doesn't personally work very well. So I just tend to not have touch on. I'll keep it on, just so I can kind of tell you anytime, like, when I'm turning the canvas like this, and it wants to work again. I can properly tell you when it's not wanting to work and stuff, and kind of give you an overview on that. Some people do like it, some people don't, but my personal experience is I just prefer to use the keys and all that. So, the next thing I'm going to go over is the buttons. So, I mentioned earlier how I have an issue with the buttons. And here's my issue. I don't know if that just popped up on the screen. I am assuming it did. But, Alt, Shift, Undo, and I draw something on the screen. That pops up every time. Now, it's much more handy than using the pin in some cases, because I can just do that. Just kind of. But something about that irritates me, and from my knowledge, on-screen control settings, maybe, but from my knowledge, I have never found a way of turning that off. I don't think it's that. I would assume it has something to do with, where'd it go? I saw it earlier. With, oh, here we go. Tablet. It has to be something, show express view, maybe. Okay, so you can turn it off. That makes me feel a little better. I have had this for 3 years and never been able to figure that out. That tells you how much I'm good at messing with settings. I've turned that off before and it didn't. Okay. Well, I'm just nuts. But yeah, I guess you can turn it off, but that's usually automatically selected. Now, another thing I should mention is sometimes if I have my computer plugged in overnight, or have my computer shut off and my tablet is still plugged in, I come back and the pressure sensitivity isn't working. In fact, when I set this up just a second ago, the tablet did need to be updated, but for a second, it was not working. Then it was working. Then it said my tablet was not recognized, and I ended up restarting my computer, to which now it is working again. So that is another interesting thing I have here. So, I mean, it's all kind of based on how you feel about it. Like I said, I'm using the back of the pen right now. It doesn't come with an eraser, even though very confusing. Like I said, it kind of, if you read it, it sounds like it does, but it doesn't. So it doesn't come with an eraser one. Its pressure sensitivity levels are nice, but I don't feel like they're the exact best. And I don't know what size I have. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what size I have. I did read that they can be multiple sizes. I'm not sure if this was one of the ones with multiple sizes or not. But they can be multiple sizes, and yeah. But I have no issue with this one. this is me just kind of slightly moving my arm. Just this tablet, I will give you the dimensions. This tablet is from width, it is around 20 inches, and length, it is around 16 inches. So it's not very big, but I've had a long habit of drawing very tiny. Now what has happened? For the record, oh, the color has changed. Oh, I must have accidentally did that when I was touching the screen. Touches on. But, I mean, I like this tablet overall. I've been using it for a long time. I'm used to it. Like I said, I'm used to drawing very small doodles. This is literally just me slightly moving my hand. The one issue with having a small tablet is, like I said, I'm used to drawing small doodles. So, kind of having a giant tablet that if you end up moving 3 inches, you end up going, or not 3 inches, like 3 centimeters, you go an inch across your screen, isn't my exact preference at first. But once I got used to it, it's actually pretty nice. So as I was doing this drawing, I noticed a few things with my tablet on the touch. So first of all, the touch was on and off. It would sometimes work, it sometimes wouldn't. Such as I tried to zoom in multiple times, and sometimes it would zoom in, sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes I just gave up in the end of trying to do it. Sometimes I forgot to try to use the tablet. But when I did try to use it, it was either a yes or no situation. It sometimes registered, it sometimes didn't. There were also there was also an issue later in the video where the buttons and touch just stopped working completely. Around 3/4 done with the sketch, it almost as if the tablet itself didn't want to register. The touch and the pin buttons still did, but the tablet itself functions, such as the touch and buttons on the tablet, would not register from that point on. And I didn't want to mess with any of the settings while doing the video to try to figure it out at that point. So that was an issue. I didn't want to have to restart my entire laptop to try to figure that out, which odds are I'm going to have to do because I did check the drive, and once again, as I stated before the video, before the drawing on how my tablet didn't want to recognize, it ended up doing the same thing. It's not wanting to recognize again, and saying the driver is up to date, I can only assume it's because I did this as multiple parts in the video, and over time, it just kind of, how do I put it? For some reason, leaving it on overnight just shuts down the tablet itself, from what I can tell. I don't fully understand why, but that's the best option I can give to you. As I said, don't personally use the buttons or touch, but I've never had that issue before. It's really weird on how it just randomly stopped working, like in the middle of drawing. It wasn't even like my computer was off. It was like I had been drawing for a while and then it just randomly stopped. After I don't even know if you just heard that on my PC after making a noise. Um but yeah, so I'm just gonna let you kind of watch the rest of the drawing, and then I'll kind of give you my final say at the end of the video. Or you could just skip to the end of the video, which is around 29 minutes in to the video.
So if you just want to get to how I feel about the tablet in the end rather than fully seeing the drawing process, uh, be my guest.
So my final thoughts of the wacom tablet is it's a good tablet if you're willing to be patient with it. Because of the fact, I should mention that while I was doing the video, I may also put it in the thing. Sometimes the touch would not work, and about 3/4 before finishing, while still working on the outline of the drawing, for some reason the buttons just stopped working, like the system shut down. The sensitivity was still working, and I'm not fully sure. That's never fully happened to me before, but as I said, I don't usually use the buttons. The pin buttons were still working, and the touch sensitivity was still working, so I don't know why the buttons just randomly shut off. But overall, it's a good tablet. It's a cheap, good tablet if you're willing to actually be patient and learn with it. You also have to learn how to fix the fidgets, in which when the sensitivity doesn't work, you have to be able to be patient with it. So if you're looking for a tablet that won't have any issues at all, I'm not even sure if there's one out there like that. But in all honesty, if you're just willing to be patient with it, learn how to properly draw with it, learn how to fix these little minor things, which a lot easier to fix than when I first got mine. Usually it can just be fixed by restarting the computer. Then there's also another way of doing it, like restarting the drive. But if you're just willing to be patient with it, it can become a very good resource if you know what you're doing. So I think it's a good tablet on probably on a grading scale, maybe a B. But as I said, I'm not a professional artist. I'm just telling you what I know from my experience with the tablet. And the fact that I've had it for a few years, I've dropped it multiple times, tells you it's not going to break easily. It seems, though it seems like a cheap plastic, it's very sturdy in my opinion. So I feel like it's an okay tablet to have. Might not be one of the best, might not be one of the worst. It's into its art, so I guess I can really only let you guys make your own decision. That's just my opinion on the matter. So I'll see you later, Lone Wolves.